Hello, welcome. So, I was actually thinking of talking about perhaps more interesting subjects. However, um, I still feel that the subject of experiential wisdom is actually really important, and I kind of feel inspired to expand more on that, and perhaps also after watching my video on self um, there we go already. On self-actualization, there might be something more in it for you after having processed that information. So just to be clear, sometimes like I just did, I just get quiet and I just wait for, no, I don't even wait. I just accept the moment as it is, and I let the words come whenever they want to come. And this is where creativity comes from. If you stay in your mind, you will not create anything new because your mind can only work with what you already know, basically. However, it is mostly that you think that you know something. So your mind can only guess at things, and its only function is to think, and you can think that you know something, but you don't feel that it's true. You're just guessing. Your mind is basically in the dark. It's like there's some being inside of your head who doesn't have any cameras or something on the outside what's going on, and it's just guessing what is happening out there, but it doesn't know how. Doesn't matter how good it is at guessing. Maybe it guesses right, but you can never know that. However, when you tap into the source of who you really are, then you can feel it, and that's what I mean with experiential wisdom. You just feel that it's true, and you don't require and you don't have an explanation for it. That's what your mind tries to do with it afterwards. And with conceptual wisdom, it's actually the same information as experiential wisdom. However, with conceptual wisdom, you think you know it, and with experiential wisdom, you just know it. With conceptual wisdom, you are like, or your mind is like, oh, I really have to write this down. I have to tell this to other people. I have to convince them because this is the truth, and we shouldn't forget. But yeah, that's basically like bringing fish out of the water and laying them on the sand. They won't survive that for very long, for a really short time actually. And they are also quite useless when they're out of the water. Of course, it's better than nothing, and it's a um, good first step or a good anchor for yourself to remember when you're just getting started with all of this. But if you don't tap into the experiential wisdom, then it will always be okay. I wanted to say something, but it completely vanished. So I will talk about something else, which is closely related. So there's this spiritual teacher called Eckhart Tolle. He's actually the first spiritual teacher that I have found, or that found me, depends how you're looking at it. And he's all about presence, about being aware of the present moment and allowing it to be, whatever it contains. And he also talks about space, for example, because it is also a way to tap into who you really are, just like I used the empty space. So he said that one time during a seminar of his, someone had asked him a question and he had given an answer which came from experiential wisdom. Then the next day that person had a follow-up question, I believe, and Eckhart Tolle didn't remember the specific question, so that person told him the question and what Eckhart Tolle had responded to that question. And then Eckhart Tolle repeated the exact words that he had said the previous day, and everyone had to laugh because the presence or the experiential wisdom behind the words was missing. So even though it was exactly the right information, the same instructions, it was still not backed up in the same way. So it wasn't really about what, but rather about how it was said. And I also think that this experiential wisdom is really the basis from which you can improve your life, basically. Because, of course, people talk a lot about working on your negative side, and that's, of course, you want to improve your negative side. However, you need something to replace it with, to replace what is currently there with something better. And if you are only focused on the negative, then you don't have access to anything that would be an improvement. So why would you work on your negative aspects when you don't have any realizations of a higher frequency that you could replace it with? And yes, it's not like you can suddenly go from your current state into a state of complete self-realization all the time, of being the same or almost the same as we really are. It's like an ever expanding process. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper. But I think if you're not yet into contact with that so much, then you really have to rely on the on your intuition and on the experiential wisdom of others, which then becomes your conceptual wisdom when you repeat it to yourself. It is better than nothing, but it will let you down at times, and you will be like, I thought I knew this, but it isn't working. And that should increase your desire for self-realization, for experiential wisdom. It's also the way into enjoying life. It's not that the circumstances necessarily have to change, but your perspective of your circumstances will change, and therefore you will enjoy life like it's meant to be enjoyed. And yes, there are many wise tips. For example, just focus on the feeling that you want to experience. For example, if you want to graduate, then focus on how would that feel, because that's what you actually want. You want to feel, in that case, the worthiness which you already have. You don't need to graduate for that, and you can already feel it. Or the joy, same story. Those are very good tips. However, they just help you a very tiny bit into raising your frequency, but it costs a lot of effort. While if you tap into your essence, then you just become a being for whom it is effortless to see things in this way and to focus on what you want to see. And please try to follow my example when I'm quiet like this. Try not to think, oh, this is boring. Why is he doing this? Also, don't try to think, oh, I wish I could do this too. Because everyone can do this. You are already this. You're just doing things that prevent you from experiencing it right now. But you can always. If you focus on one of your hobbies, or if you are in grave danger, then you automatically will live through this perspective, even if just for 1 second. And yes, meditation helps with achieving this state. However, meditation is very hard to grasp. It's not just sitting in a lotus position, keeping your hands like this. I can't even sit in a lotus position. It can also be just going outside for a walk, playing tennis, writing a book, reading a book, listening to music. It's all about giving up all the illusory concepts which your mind tends to put on your path. Like, oh, I can't do this, I'm afraid of this, no one will want me, blah blah blah. That's all not true. And you will realize that when you find a way to you don't even have to quiet your mind necessarily, as long as you can be aware of it and be your essence while you are living your life, whilst you are thinking, whilst you are moving. Of course, it can be easier when everything is quiet, where you can just lay down, but it's not necessary. Sometimes you will just be inspired by something, a video or a song, a painting perhaps, and then you are immediately suddenly in that state where you're allowing everything and seeing it as it is, because everything is perfect basically, because everything is eternally expanding, and that's the only perfection. If you could get anything you wanted instantly, then things would get very boring very fast. So eternal expansion is the only way that you can always keep having fun, because you're never done. And things are inevitably changing, inevitably expanding, and I can hardly imagine that you're not noticing this by now. And I can assure you that you will keep evolving and keep getting more access to your essence, and therefore being more and more capable of enjoying life just like you want to. Of course you want to enjoy it. Why else would you be here? So I hope that this time I have reached you even in a more profound way. Although it's my words, every word is always a distortion. I have something inside of me that I want to convey. And maybe I have to get even more experienced in making videos, or getting more used to talking about this instead of talking about it in my mind. And they come out of experiential wisdom, but as soon as the words are spoken, they are just a pointer, they are not the wisdom themselves. And if you repeat them without verifying it through your own experiential wisdom, then they already have become conceptual wisdom. So never think that anything is a truth that cannot be doubted. Just stay open, because when you tap into this experiential wisdom, then you have just knowing and no inclination to say that something is true or not true. You can just give the good example of how to enjoy life. Give the good example to show others that everything is always well. And that's how I would like to leave you. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again the next time. Bye.